If you buy one of these cheap things, don't be rough with it. They will break. They will crack. Where's that crack at? There we go. Yeah. And it will stop your legs from being able to connect. I mean, it makes sense. Don't be rough with it. It's plastic. But if you have gear like I do, and it's in different bags and bounces around, or in this case, just flops around your car, they're going to break. So yes, just a little bit of a warning. So I had to get that out of the way, as it's getting harder and harder to set up this little cheap tripod. Like I said, you get what you pay for. But anyways, I had a situation that happened today where I was partially at fault, and it made me think of this title, Don't Be the Problem, as my brain juices got flowing on just like different things that have happened in life. So this video is going to be more of a life-related one because of what happened today and different situation that I was going to bring into. But once I really started thinking about it, like formulating that thought process, I was like, hold up, that actually fits into the title more than I thought. But before we get into that, I guess because I'm technically a YouTuber now, not just a guy who uploads random things on a YouTube channel, I have to say the thing like, if you like what I'm uploading, like and subscribe, because I don't really say that, and according to YouTube, I'm shooting myself in the foot. So there you go. Like and subscribe and comment if you like what I post. Anyways, on to the topic. I was leaving a shopping center, and the exit is one of your average exits that it goes out and it leads onto a main street. If you're in the train area, this is Nottingham Way. This is the Walmart shopping center, blah, 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 blah. This is all important, as when you're leaving out, you can go left, you could go right, typical right. In this case, I'm sitting in the left lane, and as I'm going out, there's an older lady who starts crossing. Now, did she cross in the proper way? No, but she's crossing regardless. And since we're going out, this is literally how it is. If I'm sitting on the left side, there's a right side, and then there's buildings to the right of us. There's a Panda Express, and then there's a small little median, and then it's the same left and right if you're coming in, right? It's a shopping center. She's going across, and whatever, it's fine. The light is green, but she's a pedestrian. She has the right of way. So I wait, and one of the pickup trucks that starts to come into the shopping center, they wait as well. Well, there's somebody behind me that is, get that out the way, that is very unhappy about that. And as she starts to, cross, or is actually finishing crossing on my side, this man tries to attempt to go around. He's in a big SUV, and I can see everything through my rear view mirror, but then stops, because if he goes around, he'll get into the left lane to take a left turn out. He wants to take a left. The right lane is just for a right. Technically, you could take the left in the right lane, but then you would be an asshole who's not obeying the traffic signs. So he tries that, realizes he can't do it, stops. As she finishes crossing, and it's clear, I go to pull forward, and he just slams on the horn. Now, I am instantly aggravated. This is about 9 o'clock in the morning. Why are you slamming on your horn at 9 o'clock in the morning? More importantly, why are you slamming on your horn 9 o'clock in the morning? Because we are allowing a pedestrian to cross. Do you really think you are that important? All that pissed me off. I am, for the most part, a calm person. Now, I do have a temper. I am, at least amongst my close friends, I am the slow burner of the group. They are a bit more quicker to, punch somebody in the mouth, or at least get heated. I'm the one that tries to keep everybody calm. But I am also the FAFO person of the group. As in, when it's time to get busy, I'm the one who's really ready to go there. They like to call it psychological warfare. And I'm not saying this to brag or toot my own horn or anything, because that's not what this is about. I don't really believe in, doing that type of stuff. My whole life mantra at this point is peace, happiness, and whatnot. But if we got to take it there, we'll take it there. I say all that to say that is one of the things that pisses me off. One of those things that is a pet peeve that just strikes a nerve. So we go forward, we make the left turn. As we're making the left turn, the guy pulls up next to me and we make eye contact. And here's something that happens with drivers. A lot of drivers have fenced-in dog syndrome. You know how dogs will go crazy barking behind a fence or behind a door, a glass panel, a window, whatever, then once it opens, they calm down. A lot of drivers have the same mentality, as in they feel brave, they feel hyped because of the cage that we're in, that is our vehicle. But then once they see the other driver, all that stops. And as we make eye contact, this man kind of just, you see it in his eyes, like the soul leaves his eyes. Like, oh, this is another grown man who is capable of himself. He quickly found out, because I'm just going to be honest, I kind of cussed the man out and lectured him like he was my son on why does he think he's so important. Literally, it went, WTF is your problem? That lady had the right of way. What is wrong with you? Do you not read your driving laws? Blah, 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 blah. It was a pretty in-depth lecture, and I was yelling, to say the least, and his responses were just very sheepish. He didn't have the same energy he had before of, bah! No, he was very just mellow and knew he was in the wrong. You could tell by his body language. The thing about this is, I'm 32. He looked like he was somewhere in his 40s, 40, 45. No, you can tell he was a bit more aged. The person who crossed was at least in her 60s, probably 70. Older than both of us. That right there, that unacceptable behavior, just putting all that together, is kind of like what set me off. I don't brag about the things that I do, but I've helped a lot of random people just for the sake of doing it because it's the right thing to do. Now, I don't always believe in doing the right thing, you know. I do sometimes believe in being the problem, as you see in the title, don't be the problem. But for the most part, I'm the type of person, and my friends are, that we just jump into action because it's the right thing to do, you know, walking old ladies across the street, helping strangers carry bags. Hell, me and my friends one time actually carried a random dude's refrigerator into his house. And obviously that's when we were like in our late teens, or 18, 19, and 20. And because one of our friends was talking to the guy, our other friend just assumed that was his uncle. So all five of us end up helping him get this big ass fridge into this row home house. And if you've ever been in a city, so you know, the row homes will have like little small stairs, little small entrance, especially this one had a little small stair. I'll probably try to find a photo for reference, but it's a small staircase that's like made out of cement, and then the entryway, and we had to find a way to navigate that through the door. One of the funniest moments in our life, because at the end of it, my bro was like, hey, yeah, it was good helping your uncle. And he's like, I didn't know that guy. That's neither here nor there, right? But in short, we're the type to help people. So that type of situation, like I said, it just irked me. It completely irked me. And I'm also one of those people who gets annoyed by drivers, because you see a lot of bad drivers, to the point where, and I guess I got to bring this up, I made a community post about this as well. Back during the Super Bowl, me and my bro were at his former job, as well as others, and we were watching the Super Bowl, the Chiefs 49ers, and there was a fatal car accident in front of the shop because of somebody that wasn't an impatient driver. In fact, we were one of the first people on the scene. The man who died, sometimes we think about the fact, like, could we have done more? Because we couldn't get him out the car. And while at first it was like, hey, there's nothing you can do, my main bro, he was upset about it because the cops weren't helping him, but the cops said there's nothing they could do about it. And I agreed, but as time passed, even my brain sometimes goes, what if we grabbed the glass hammer, you know, and cracked the back window? and pulled him out, but could we have pulled him out? Things like that stuck in my head. So my annoyance for impatient drivers has just like increased because of that, which is kind of ironic as what I'm going to say next. So fast forwarding from that, I'm still aggravated while driving. Like, I'm just in a foul mood. I had a guy do a really impatient overpass, not even 12 hours before. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning because we're stuck behind a different car. I'm stuck behind a slow driver. They're behind me. The guy just goes around. Him going around is exactly how that person died on the Super Bowl crash. So that's stuck in my head. So I'm annoyed from that. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. This happened, so it re-annoys me. And as I'm driving down a completely different road, I'm trying to merge into a left lane. I'm on 130 and I'm trying to get on 202, and I'm in going the completely right lane. I need to merge into the left. I put my signal on. 1, 2, 3 clicks, even pull up to get over. The car behind me is not trying to move. So I go up even further, but not too far, because there's a car in front of me, and I don't believe in driving bumper to bumper, because if they brake, it's going to mess up my car, and there's no more living in the car. And even if it's not messed up, I like my car a lot. So I eventually create a good amount of space, I feel, and get over. This person, I could tell from looking in the mirrors, was not really paying attention, as in they were looking at the road, but they had tunnel vision. And when that happened, they bang on the horn, just like the other guy. I get so pissed off that I just start spamming my turn signal, as in a way to communicate, you stupid MFer, because I'm trying to not cuss as much. The signals are right here. Why can't you see them? And at that point, we're at a light, and where I need to be, but I need to merge over again to get on 202. But I'm so annoyed, right, that when I go do it, I cut somebody off because I didn't shoulder check. In that short instance, being frustrated and annoyed, I became one of those drivers that was just pissing me off, or at least the driver, the previous one, the other guy was just an asshole. No, we could say that because I was impatient as well. So then I cut somebody off. They honked their horn, rightfully so. And in that instance, they pull up. We make eye contact. It's an elderly black group, a man on the passenger side and a woman, and they're just looking at me. And I start to calm down because I'm like, that was your fault. There's a part of me that could have easily went while he's looking at me, what the F are you looking at? And if any of you have been interacting with people driving, you will see that type of behavior where people double down. But in my case, I didn't double down. I apologized. I actually owned up to what was happening, because we were stopped right next to each other. And I told them, my fault. That was my bad. Frustrated from an earlier situation. So I was driving angry. I didn't shoulder check. That was on me. And they accepted it. And the guy, and the older black guy, was like, it's cool. He's like, just keep yourself focused. And he was right. And I allowed myself to calm down. I woosawed. And when I woosawed, that was good, because about 3 minutes later, while driving down 202, which is a 55, and I'm in a left lane, it's 2 lanes per side, somebody pulls out from a location, goes directly into the left lane, starts to drive, and slams their brakes to do an illegal U-turn because they didn't check for traffic. And if I wasn't just cruising at the 55, allowing myself to be calm and refocused on the road, I would have slammed into the back of them. Clearly that didn't happen because I'm here talking, but even with that, when that lady did that, I didn't get mad or pissed off. I just sighed, breathed, and I was like, you know what? It's just one of those days. Accept it and move on. And I did that. But it got me thinking. Everything that got me thinking had me realize I, for a moment, was or could have been a part of the problem. And by the problem, I mean there's a guy that was frustrated for whatever reason, or just being impatient. And by him being impatient, he pissed me off because he struck a nerve. There's an older lady walking by what is wrong with you, right? And in that frustration, another smaller, very tiny situation happened that allowed me to become even more frustrated, to where I could have been part of the problem of potentially hitting somebody else, or being, out of zone enough to where a person who would just not driving well at all, probably needs their license revoked, could have slammed into them as I wasn't focused and vigilant towards other drivers. And once again, like, a problem escalates. And one thing a rule I try to follow these days is to just let bygones be bygones, hence the title, don't be part of the problem. And by let bygones be bygones, by that I mean, there are times in situations in life, right, where people will do something towards somebody, and I'll tell that person, like, what are you mad about? Like, for example, my close bro that got fired, his coworkers, two of the remaining coworkers, let's put it that way, two of them are toxic. And one of the other coworkers, who is still very close to my bro, and he's younger, so my bro's kind of take him under his wing, as I have as well. The two previously mentioned coworkers, we'll call them Brad and Ted, because it's completely far from their names, but because of their personalities, it makes sense to me. But Brad and Ted are about our age, and they're just screw ups, and they've been tried to be helped, especially by the manager of that shop, as well as my bro. And I've helped Brad out, at least. He's gone with me to like spots to hang out and things, but that's neither here nor there. Brad and Ted are screw ups, and they're jealous type people. And with the younger coworker, we'll just call him Johnny, because whatever. Johnny is still close to my bro, and Johnny doesn't really need Brad and Ted for help. So when Johnny brings up my bro's name, Brad and Ted sometimes feel some type of way about it, because they're just messy, toxic people who can't help themselves and being jealous, and they'll say something like, he's not here anymore, why are we talking about him, blah 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 blah. That's mainly how Brad acts. That's how Brad acts towards a lot of things. Once again, I'm not going to get into the details of it, but with that, my bro will find out, because when you're a cool person, things get back to you when other people are talking trash, and he'll tell me about it, and I will be like, why do you care? As in, those people don't really have anything going for their lives, and they don't. Where they are, job-wise, career-wise, relationship-wise, they're stuck. They're done. They're not going to have any growth unless they change who they are, unless they have a lot of revelation through self-reflection on how they contributed to their problems, and then actively decide to change them, which they aren't doing. So with that, why are you upset or allowing people who are in a position worse than you bother you? Then we'll have conversations like that. But that's the gist of the combos. And yet, here I am in a situation where I allow other people's behavior to then influence me, which then could have made things worse. And get what I'm saying here? Hence the title, bringing it back, is don't be part of the problem, or at least don't allow, people to, the energy that they give off, that they share, to influence your decision making, whether it's subconscious or conscious, to where you may screw up and end up doing something to somebody else when it's unnecessary. And funny enough, I was going to bring up a situation as a counter argument, where I was going to say sometimes you should be part of the problem. And I meant that in a deliberate way. Like, say if you have kids and somebody's harassing your kids, like a grown adult. In that type of situation, there's nothing wrong with hitting them in the mouth, in my opinion. Quickly just bow. you're harassing my child. I don't have kids, just letting that know. But if I had a kid, it would be that way. I do have nieces and nephews, and best believe if a grown person does that, I'm going to be one of the first to swing or intimidate or whatever, right? But there was a situation that I thought of as a counter argument that was like the first thing that came to my head, which, funny enough, actually kind of proved me right on not being part of the problem. And with that, I mean, with the same bro who I talked about that lost his job, he worked at a different job, and he got elevated to a leadership role. And since this is an inner city, you get all types of people at these type of jobs because they are entry level and don't really require high school diplomas or anything. So you get current drug addicts, former drug addicts, people that get out of prison. And I'm not judging people that get out of prison. I'm just saying that's the type of people you get, including gang members and everything else. And in this situation, one of the people who my bro was over and who he actually tried to help out and look out for was a person that is a gang member, air quotes, for a reason. And he treated him as a bro, like helped him out with things, helped him out with money, with clothes, even though my bro really wasn't in a position to do that. But he is a giving person. And a situation ended up happening where my bro had to tell this guy, we'll call him Jan. He had to tell Jan no. Now, if any of you have ever helped people out, you see a person's true colors when you eventually have to tell them no, or there's any type of disagreement. And when he told him no, as well as like made a joke about the situation, things began to get ugly. That person got into their feelings, one thing turned into another, and it got to the point where dudes started doing things like posting guns on Instagram and making indirect threats, basically trying to show off. Because the thing about my bro is he is white passing, even though he's not white, and he jokes a lot and stuff. Even though he's a bralette guy, he jokes a lot in things, and sometimes because they think he doesn't have any affiliations with stuff, people like to joke about things. I got wind of it because my bro told me, and I think I was in my second to last semester in school, and because of that, I had it in my head, you know what? We're going to put hands on him. I'm going to put hands on him. I'm going to come down from school, find this guy, and put hands on him. Because once you start doing things like posting guns or even getting caught in an alleyway like you're waiting for him, that's when it becomes a threat. And we don't mess around with threats. I definitely do not mess around with threats to people that are close to me. So the thought process was, I'm going to find you and I'm going to hurt you really bad. And you don't even know that I'm looking for you. So when it happens, well, it's going to happen. The thing about it is sometimes I show my emotions on my face when something's annoying me, because especially if other things are happening. For the most part, I'm very stoic, but other times it's obvious. And one of those, that day it was obvious because a lot of things were happening, so I was more just annoyed, and that being told that is kind of what made me more mad. And with that, I had to go down to the mail room of my university to get something, and there's an older black man there by the name of Ray. I will say Ray's name because this is a positive story. And Ray realized something was wrong, so he told me, it's like, Mill, sit down. Like, what's happening with you, right? And I like to talk to Ray because Ray's a good guy. Ray runs the mail room at William Patterson University. I just stuttered like crazy there, but Ray runs the mail room at William Patterson University, and he's a good guy. If he's still there, I haven't been there in like 2 years, so I don't know if he's still employed or not. But if he is, that man is, he's great. And we sat and we talked, and I told him what happened. And I'm like, I kind of really just want to hurt this guy. In fact, the only reason I'm telling you, because it's me trying to like calm myself down. And if I tell somebody that's not an affiliate that I'm not going to do something, then it's like, it stops me from doing something, you know? And he goes, you're up here for schools. Like, you're supposed to be getting away from that. Well, so why are you want to do that? I was like, because that's like my bro. That's somebody close to me. That's like, that is family. But and in the long course of this discussion, you know, yada, yada, saying like, just leave things alone, this, that, and the third, you know, trying to change your life. why get wrapped up in things? And with that, I calm down, talk to my bro, and my bro kind of calms down and things as well. And like things kind of just, die down, because honestly, the person that was posting guns, him posting guns and acting like he's hiding in the alleyway and other stuff, was really him just trying to act like he was hard, act like he was tough, because there were a few situations that happened at that job and other stories that came out where, he didn't really act that way towards other people who he thought were, actual, respected gang members. They weren't, but those people had a bit of prestige to them. Low level prestige, but prestige regardless. So, he was more careful, whereas the guy who was just a civilian, he felt like he could get away with things more, even though we're actually worse than them. A situation happened where somebody affiliated with me, actually related to me, had to get involved, and he came across the bridge from Philly and things died down, let's put it that way. But that's neither here nor there. We're staying on this situation. Anyways, long story short, Jan ended up getting beat up by his own gang members. His own set. He did something and they beat the hell out of him, from what we heard. And that situation ended. And I did nothing. I didn't contribute to that problem. And I was going to use that as sometimes there are times you need to be part of the problem, but as I remembered the rest of that story, I was like, wait a minute, I did nothing. I pulled back, got my bro to pull back, chilled, continued on the path we're going of least resistance, and it kind of just sorted itself out without us having to do a damn thing. In fact, we just went on with our lives, kind of like the driving thing, right? Life works in funny ways is what I'm trying to say. But ultimately, as I get older and as things change, I'm learning, just don't be part of the problem. Sit back, chill, relax, remove yourself, allow yourself to breathe, woosah, get your energy back to a non-stressful point. And outside of crazy situations that you can't really control, for the most part, in a normal life, things should be fine. Things should resolve themselves. There are always those random outliers, because life is life and ain't nothing you can do about those. But in this case, everything went fine. I didn't crash. I didn't ruin somebody else's day. I apologized to them. They accepted it. I didn't hit the lady. Me and my bro didn't get into a situation, where things kind of got crazier for us. The person who was being the instigator instigated themselves into an ass whooping, which we haven't heard from them ever since. Sometimes you just don't really gotta do anything. Not being part of the problem is good enough. That's it. That's the video. It was a different one, but I figured that was worth talking about. And as always, deuces, I'm out of here. I'll catch y'all in the next one.